Good morning. This is Gaming Perspectives with
Saul
and Jolene. And today we're talking about character creation systems.
Correct.
They have their own special systems? Are they separate from gaming systems?
Well, they're part of the gaming system,
I
right?
see.
So how do you make a character in an RPG?
Well, it usually depends on if there's one already created for me or if I have to do it all by myself.
Yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to do it, is have somebody else make you one. But for the most part, the most famous one is D&D, right? The class-based system. You start the game at first level, you get so much experience, you go to another level, and so on and so on.
Well, in D&D, you get to pick your race, and then you pick what you want to be, like a fighter. Is that the class you're talking about?
Exactly.
And then from there,
Class-based level systems, I guess.
say if you want to be a human
That's a race.
and a fighter,
Right, that's the class.
then you're going to get a certain amount of stuff once you roll out your stuff, right? If you want to be an elf and a fighter, you're going to get a little bit different.
They'll be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you get stuff for your race and your class.
Correct. So class-based systems, like I've said, there's the good old favorite. Pretty much everybody has played in a class-based, level-based system because D&D has used it and started with it in original D&D, went through AD&D, all the way to 5th edition.
Whatever the 5th edition is now.
You're right. I didn't play 2nd edition, and I didn't play 4th edition. Maybe I got something against even numbers.
You only played the odd numbers.
It is. And the first one, which was original. So I think that's one reason why class-based and level systems are so popular. And there's a large number of games that use that type of system to make a character and have character progression. Because I'm going to guess that almost everybody has played D&D who plays role-playing games.
Maybe, unless they were introduced to Tales from the Loop first.
Yeah, unless they're like in...
Or unless they're Savage Worlds, their parents played it and now they play it and they haven't rebelled against them yet.
Right. Or they're in a different country.
Savage Worlds is a different system though, right? It's a...
Point-by system.
Point-by system. Okay.
Yes.
So, but first, the class level system, you pick your class, you pick your race.
Well, yeah, it depends on the game.
System. And then you pick skills and attributes, right?
If they're available.
Well, we're talking about D&D. They're available.
Oh, yeah. So you roll your attributes, or there's different ways to make the character, and that depends on the game. Some they just give you, like, these are the 5, 4, 3, depending on how many attributes you have. These are the numbers that you get, and those are changed or up and down, those characteristics, those attributes. If they have race or if they have a class, which is they will, because we're talking about class-based systems. Like a fighter would have maybe plus on strength or constitution,
right.
And a wizard would probably have strength, not strength, but would raise their intelligence and maybe wisdom.
So in this character creation system, classes and levels, obviously you're getting experience points to move up.
Right.
So that's the way that it works. You move up. Some other systems, some other character creation systems, you don't really move up, right?
Right. It's not as rigid as class-based systems. So we're talking about D&D as a good example. You earn experience points, and after you get some predefined number of experience
1,500.
points, 1,500. I think the new one is 1,000.
Okay.
And you get to gain a level, which usually gives you some better perks for your character, and it basically makes you more powerful in D&D.
On the gaining a level thing for D&D 5th edition, the one that we were playing on our Friday night nights.
Yes.
This is what I hear whenever we go up a level. It's either a good level because you get such and such, or you only get to do your hit points and you get to up something.
Right. So in D&D, you get more hit points. Usually, sometimes you get a
attribute
increase. Yes. Or a feat in 5th edition. And sometimes there is a class special ability that kicks in.
Yes.
I think those come in like 3rd, 6th, 7th, then 9th, 12th. Like fighters being able to use
it's rather
action
random.
points.
You look at the each different class and it's a little bit different, right? Because there's one time when all I got was hit points and I get to add 1 point to an attribute.
Is that all? Well, that's pretty important.
I know, but then the other people were talking about, oh, I get this class-based thing and different kinds of things. So
Yeah. Well, sometimes, like I said, it's based on race, and sometimes it's based on your class. Like the Dragonborn, they got ability to start flying around.
Yeah.
And they were all excited about that.
Well, it was pretty exciting. It's not every day that you're walking with your friends and all of a sudden they can fly.
You could sprout wings.
Yeah.
I think, and then I think class-based systems are kind of in the middle row. Middle
road. Middle of the road.
Middle of the road, as far as how difficult it is to make a character.
Yeah. I think it's pretty easy. Like if it's your first time, maybe have someone help you. I mean, unless they give you a character, then you can, but you don't like it. You go, well, I can look at this and figure it out how it's done.
Right. I think it depends on any kind of experience you have in playing games. For example, I know we'll probably have this in the future topic, but if you're playing a computer game, most role-playing computer games, you go through this process of making your character. Sometimes it's just visual, like, you got to pick if you're bald, have hair,
right.
The facial features. But they also allow you to make a character and let you make decisions on what class your character is and what, like, let's say you get to pick your spells out of a list. And if you kind of have that primed into you by computer games, then moving on to a role-playing game wouldn't be that difficult.
So the class-based system would be a little bit easier. But I think the role-playing game, the computer games are based off the role-playing.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So, hello.
And it's just a little bit of a what is it? You're just moving from one medium to another.
Yeah.
Now, if you played board games that are like adventure-like games, then again, I think it would be easy for you to transition to RPGs. But something like Squad Leader or something like that is not going to help you make a role-playing character. Or Ticket to Ride, right. Or Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. So I think for me, but it could be that I've been playing since 1978.
It was the first one that you played, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something I've continued to play for like 43 years.
Don't add the numbers, dude.
Hold on, that's more than 43. 46.
Anyway, moving on. Stop adding in your head.
47
I hate
years.
when he adds. He's always off.
Yeah, I'm always off at first. I'll figure it out sooner or later. But exactly. So I've been playing a long time. So maybe just to me and because I played D&D this whole time, and sometimes a lot, sometimes very little, but I've continued to play D&D. To me, it's not difficult to make a new character simply because I have so much experience with it.
Well, for me, I want to come up with an idea for the character. And D&D is a good example, right? Because I played a sorceress for a long time because the kids, and that was in both D&D and Pathfinder.
Yes.
And the kids, because they needed a sorceress there to make sure they didn't.
They needed a magic user.
Yeah, they needed a magic user. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but
you did.
I got kind of pigeonholed into that. This is what you're going to do.
Who pigeonholed you? Yourself.
Augustine,
Yourself.
me. Well, Augustine and Alan only wanted to play thieves or what did they call it? Rogue or
barbarian.
A barbarian, a monk, a fighter. Those just like.
Augustine played what is it? Where he kind of turns into a beast, or he has a beast guy, the little beast that changed as he grew levels.
Wasn't that the monk?
No. It was like a magic user, but he was like...
He had like a toad, a big giant toad.
Yes.
I think he was a monk.
No, he was not a monk.
Okay.
It was one of those weird classes.
One of those special classes.
Yes, and he loved that guy.
Well, so class-based system's pretty easy if you have an idea of what you want to play, right?
Right.
If you go, I want to play a fighter, then you can look at all the different kinds of fighters and go, oh. But sometimes there's too much information. Sometimes they're not.
Well, I was going to say, I think class-based systems, it makes it easier because it gives you a defined set of what you can play.
Yes.
It gives you a list of what kind of characters you have. But if it's totally open,
it makes it a lot harder.
You're like, what can I play? Anything you want to make? I don't know what there is. I mean, if you've never played before.
I know GURPS is not a class-based system. No. It's a point by one, yes. Right? But that was one of the biggest complaints I heard about that. For the GM to set it up, you have to define what people can use, right?
Right. There's a lot of reasons why people like class-based systems
of creating your character.
and level based, right?
And level based.
And making your characters is familiarity. Like I said, most people are in the United States. I'm gonna say most people have played D&D as a role playing game, right? And familiarity, they've played it before, and I think they're just inherently easier to understand because it's not the openness of like the next one that we're going to talk about. It's not very open. There's a limited number of roles, and those roles are something familiar to everybody if they've seen some sort of swords and sorcery movie
Or Lord of the Rings.
or Lord of the Rings or read those books. So it's all kind of familiar. And you know, well, I know what a fighter's going to do. He fights with a sword, maybe a bow, crossbow, whatever. And you know what a wizard is, right? Throws spells. And so on a cleric, people may not know what a cleric is, but they're a holy
Wizard.
Practitioner. So there's all those things that I think help class level based systems be really popular. And of course, because D&D is super popular compared to every other game at all, then
Every time you say that, I always think, well, that's not true. But then you always go, well, look at the percentage of people that
Yes.
play only D&D versus the percentage of people that play other games.
it's startling actually, even after how many 50 years, right? And I guess D&D got its head start. So like if you played D&D back in the day, like me, and people played before me, so there's older people than me that played D&D, right?
Not
And then,
much, but yeah.
I wasn't going to say that, but I knew you might. And so with their kids and their grandchildren might have seen you play, right? And they're going to want to play with you. And so you probably expose them to D&D, and that's what they know. I think now that there's more people playing the more people playing other games, they might have seen somebody, like you said, Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
And they've moved from D&D to Savage Worlds for whatever reasons they had wanted.
I'll just use the example of and I don't know what Champions is for the creating a character, but our friend Elaine, whose dad is like Champions.
Oh yeah,
guy.
Yes,
And he comes to
DungeonCon
every year, and he runs Champions.
Right, he runs
and
like 3
he comes
games.
from Southern California.
Yes.
And he does it, and he runs like 3 games. So she obviously was exposed to Champions
Oh
first.
yeah, she knows for Champions. She makes characters.
I'm just saying that. So like when you're saying that D&D with kids and grandkids, I'm gonna say it's like if Savage Worlds or
something you
whatever
pass on
your
to
thing is,
kids.
right?
Yes, exactly. So I think that there's all kinds of things pushing for people to know and be familiar with class-based systems.
Yeah.
Right. So then we talked about it already. We talked about GURPS, Savage Worlds. You mentioned also.
So GURPS and Savage Worlds are both point-based character.
Yes, point-by
build-
system.
Point-by.
Right, they
system.
give you so many points, and you make character. I think this is where even if you're familiar with role playing games online, this one might be a little bit different because you're like, points. What do I do with points? Well, you
have 25 points.
Yes.
Make your character.
Right.
And you're like looking at all this stuff, going, "Excuse me, can I get some help?"
how does it work? Well, let's say GURPS. Well, if you want to raise your dexterity, each point will be like 3 points, and then if you go up to level 3, that'll be like 9 points or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Some weird.
They have a rule, just not to go back to D&D, but they have a rule in one of the editions that you can use a point-by system to create your character.
Yes, they give you so many points.
They give you so many points, and because you did that once to us, and I remember I was like, well, this is a lot harder than just
did it
rolling
to
the
you
dice.
Well, the reason I don't even know what game that was, but it was the reason I ever did it that way was because
to prevent mini-maxing, I think it was.
well, there's that, but it was the official way to make a character in organized play, Adventures League.
Okay.
So you would buy, and then online there was D&D online, and you made I think it was a 28-point build, but if you paid extra, you could build a 32-point build.
Oh my gosh.
With those mini maxers, it's all the difference in the world.
Yeah, those extra 4 points. Yeah.
But you said it yourself that using the point buy system instead of just rolling dice was more difficult because there was more choices for you to make.
Yeah, I kind of like the roll of the dice and get the points for your attributes,
Unless you roll 3.
unless you roll a 3.
So point buy, GURPS, and Savage Worlds, and Savage World, and I'm sure Savage World same, but GURPS you buy your attributes, your skills, and in fact, usually because it is what is it? They don't usually give you enough points to make the character as good as you want it. Of course, sometimes the GM will just give you stuff, but if you follow the rules, then you have to take these things called advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are things that are good for your character, which cost points, but disadvantages are things that are impact your character negatively, at least they're supposed to, and you get points for having that disadvantage.
Right.
Like color blindness, that might be worth 3 points. Unable to hear, 5 points for that or something.
Yeah.
Hunted, that's a real popular
They have
one.
something like that in Shadowrun.
Shadowrun's exactly like that. Exactly.
I mean,
Shadowrun's a
they
point
have
buy.
the. Is it a point buy?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I mean, they help you with that little chart.
It gives you a
A,
chart.
B, C,
yeah.
D. Yeah. But it's point buy because you use
You're
points.
choosing which A, B, C, D, which one
Yes.
you want to do.
Right.
And but I was going to say the point by that I see in Shadowrun is but with the karma, right? The advantages and disadvantages, right? You can buy stuff that gives you special powers, but you have to take a negative somewhere else. Like say you want to do something, you're going to be addicted to drugs on the other end, right?
Right.
There's like a
Well, only if you want those extra points. See,
Right.
karma is what they call their credits or
Yeah.
their points for building your character. So if you want more karma, they go, well, you could have any of these negative impacting traits of your character has, like you're hunted or you're a criminal
Yeah.
wanted by the police, stuff like that.
which in Shadowrun is an unusual thing. Is not unusual.
Not unusual. Could be a problem though.
It depends on how your GM handles it, right?
Right, and that's a huge thing about that aspect of running the game, because there's a lot of people who don't like disadvantages because they say, well, they'll pick a disadvantage that never comes to play,
Right.
or the GM forgets about it.
Yeah.
For example, you have a dependent. That was a big champions one, and like your little brother
Yeah.
or your mom or Aunt B.
Aunt B, yeah.
Aunt B for from Spider-Man. And so how many times are you going to go after that Aunt B in how many episodes of the comic book or sessions? And it's going to get tiring and some people, I've heard of that. But sometimes people just forget. And so you're getting those free points.
You're getting the extra points without having to actually take the
in-game.
negative.
Yes. And sometimes it's even for me when I was running Shadowrun, I totally forgot about you guys' disadvantages.
Well, we really didn't. A lot of people, like Kathy, had a disadvantage, and she told you about it every time.
What was it?
I forget, but I remember her saying, "Remember, I got this, so I can't do this, or this I get a negative for this."
Okay.
And
Well, that's very
I think
nice.
everybody, I mean, most of the boys and Steve were totally honest about it.
Right, but you'd forget about it sometimes.
If you're not, when you're playing, you might forget that you
Right.
have that, right? So I suggested if you're a GM and that's in the point buy system, you do something like that. You might want to write down what those disadvantages are.
Right. So what are some pros and cons of point buy? I think the best thing about point buy is you get the character, well, not exactly as you want, but as with the points that you get as
The way
exactly
that-
what you want.
Yeah. But then you get experience, right? To be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to
You can
get,
always make them better.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you don't have to.
you don't have to go up levels. You can use your
Right.
experience to buy more things for your character.
Then just some things that you have flexibility on is like exactly, for example, in Dungeons and Dragons, you as a wizard don't know how to use swords, right? They're not trained or whatever you call it. I forget what it's called. And so when you make your character, you're stuck with that disability, if you want to call it that knock against your character. But let's say you've seen or read the book The Lord of the Rings, and Gandalf has a sword and he uses it freaking fantastically.
It glows. It glows, and he uses
Yeah,
it.
well,
and
yours may not glow because you're first level, but if that's the kind of character you want, then a point buy system will allow you to do that and get what you want. For example, I point buy system of a long time ago. I think they redid it. It's called the Master System / I remember it as the ICE system, right? Iron Crown Enterprises was the name of the public of the who published it, and it was the one with Claw Law and Spell Law.
Oh,
Yeah, and so there was all these. Also had these charts for the critical hits and critical failures, right?
oh, charts.
People
My
love
favorite.
charts. But in making a character, let's say I picked a sorcerer, right? I picked a sorcerer, but I was really enthralled with the idea of using a sword. So if you picked, I guess they had like archetypes, I guess. So if you were a fighter and you wanted to learn how to use a sword, it cost you 1 or 2 points. But if you're a wizard and wanted to gain a level in swords, it cost you like 5 points. So it was inherently more expensive to learn how to use a sword if you're a sorcerer or wizard than it would be somebody who's a martial.
What I want to know
character.
is, why do you think you need a sword if you're a sorcerer?
Because I think it'd be
Just
cool.
throw a freaking fireball
I
at
think.
them.
Well, at first level, you don't have fireball.
I know you. When we were playing, and it had to be Pathfinder Society. When Augustine was little, we were sitting at a table at I think it was it Legends or somewhere.
Yeah,
Or,
it's Legends.
was it
No.
Legends? No, it was somewhere else.
It was Game Castle.
So we go, and Augustine was like all excited, and we go, and all three of us have our characters from. It's not Warhorn.
No,
Whatever.
we made the characters.
We made the characters there.
But we had to like sign up, and
Yeah.
we signed up for what slot we wanted to fill.
Yeah,
And I was a sorcerer, and I don't forgot where you were.
I don't remember.
And Augustine was a fighter of some sort. And when you sign up to play, they use this site called Warhorn.
That's it.
And Warhorn
So
was
because you had your character and we're sitting at this table,
Yes.
right? And you said you were a sorcerer, but you were throwing. You had
No,
knives.
it's the other way around.
Oh, you said you were a fighter.
I said I was a knife thrower.
Oh, you said you were a knife thrower.
Because the guy next to me goes, why do you have any points in that stat? It should be your dump stat. I go, and I hadn't really heard that term. I know I'm really slow on the uptake sometimes on catching the new trends. And he goes, yeah, that should be at 8, so you could get 2 points to put on your charisma. I go, I think it was dexterity.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
And you go, I'm a knife thrower. And he goes, you're a sorcerer.
Yeah, because he saw that. He looked at my character sheet. You're a sorcerer, and I go, what do you do? I told him I throw knives, and he was like, what does that mean? There's no such class as that.
Which part of the party are you? We need every single class here.
Every spot fulfilled, even though you could only have like 6 people at a table that I know of. Anyway, so he was very. I talked about it before. He was very astonished at the fact that I didn't make a mini max character, and I was just doing it for flavor. And like I said I was a knife thrower, and because that didn't click. Like, what the heck is that? He looked at my characters. He goes, "Oh, you're a sorcerer. Why don't you?"
Why didn't you make your charisma higher, dude?
Yeah, and drop your dexterity because you don't need dexterity as a.
Well, so you
sorcerer.
do need dexterity if you want to walk and do stuff, but whatever.
I think there's a armor class also helps for sorcerers, so I wouldn't use that as a dumb stat. It probably might be wisdom because you need charisma and you need dexterity for dodging.
I think it's really bad to use wisdom as your dump stat, people. Come on.
But what does wisdom actually entail?
That's how you get held.
Yeah, that's true. So point buy system is pretty cool because you can make the character exactly as you want with the points that you get.
I just want to point out, I did say before when you play GURPS that it is because there's so many, the books have like
Yes.
all of these things that you can choose for your points. But you really need to be clear with your players. We are playing this kind of game, cowboys or whatever, or cyborgs, but you don't want to cyborg in your cowboy game. So
Right.
you need to tell them what they can and can't buy
Right.
when they're creating their character.
Exactly. Yeah, yes, that's true. And that's what the problem is that because there's so many options as a player, and if you're new to this, you're like you can get lost.
Yeah.
And you could get lost in the sense that you could make a character that inherently doesn't work very well.
That's what I'm saying, that if you're going to run this kind of game with especially GURPS or something like that where you have all these things to choose from, you need to specify what kind of game you're playing.
Well, for example, Kathy made a character for Shadowrun where she would shoot a pistol and she couldn't hit anything. Remember?
Yes.
And because she didn't realize how to make a character, and that the points that she spent.
I'm just going to tell you right now that creating a character in Shadowrun is like a 3-week process, and you may or may not do it right, because someone's going to go, "What are you doing? That you can't do that." And Augustine goes, "You can have the gun, you just can't use it."
That's what it was. She wasn't trained in that.
She couldn't use the gun.
That type of weapon. I couldn't remember what the deal was, but you're right, and so that's what happens. And I think, like I said, a pro of this game is flexibility.
Yeah.
Extreme flexibility. But because of that flexibility, you kind of have to know the system, right?
Yeah.
You got to know how the system works as far as what your character can do and can't do. Like you might have this perception that you want your character to do this, and this in your mind is how you think it works, but in the system, it doesn't work that way.
Well, in Shadowrun, I know that you can upgrade your character with either money or karma. Like if you are a wizard and you want, or a magic user, and you want to have extra stuff, you can buy it with karma.
Right.
And for people that want to be augmented, or you want special eyes that you really want, you can spend
money,
yen on it to get the money.
I think they changed that because in the old days,
in the earlier edition,
people would get karma, and then the cyber, or what is it, the street samurai doesn't care about karma. He wants money,
right,
to be able to buy stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there was some homebrew thing where they could spend a karma to get money. And so that was not in the official rules, but became official because karma doesn't do.
That's
much
different
good.
from the class-based system where you're getting experience, and,
right?
And it tells you what you get when you go up a
Correct.
level.
There's no
this
choice.
way you can choose whatever big gun you want, or whatever that's going to increase your fighting ability or your ability to be a runner in Shadowrun.
Right. And so, for example, I think it's the gnome, right? At a certain level, 3rd level, you got to decide what kind of gnome you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like a forest gnome or rock gnome. I don't know what it is. And if you chose one or the other, it'd give you, like, if you chose the forest gnome guy, you could have, you could communicate with little animals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And some people would say, I don't care about that. Right?
That's not my shtick.
I don't want to talk to squirrels and stuff. Some people might just jump for joy about it, but that's just you decide that, and that's what you get.
Right.
Like I really like this ability of the forest gnome, but that ability to talk to animals. I live in a city. Come on, get out of here. Or why would you be a forest gnome?
But in Shadowrun, you get your money and you go, I want to upgrade my arm.
Right.
And
or anything.
In fact, I remember Jason, when we were playing Shadowrun with him, he upgraded his legs or something. He took all of his money and did that before the next game.
Yes.
Which was pretty hilarious because that was all of his money.
And the thing about point-based systems is that it really leads to min-maxing, even more so than class-based systems.
Really?
Well, because you could really once you figure out the system, you can fine-tune your character to do the maximum whatever damage to absurdity, like mini-maxers do.
Yeah.
Even in D&D.
So what's the next one?
Lifepath.
Hey, Lifepath.
So
Which reminds me of Traveler, because that's one of the only Lifepath ones I've...
And Lifepath, I think, is more like a point buy. No, it's not.
No, it's...
I guess it's a Lifepath. You're right. I don't consider it a Lifepath, really, because it's the randomness. For example, I played Dark Conspiracy in the 90s, and that is a true... in my book, a Lifepath system.
According to Saul.
According to me. Because you start off as a character and you get so much stats. I forget how many stats there was in DC. There might have been 5 or 6, whatever. And you get everybody gets the same amount. And then what you choose to do, like in high school, it gives you more points in like intelligence if you want to become like valedictorian or something.
Right.
Or if you were in sports, you can get great gain. Weight training will get you a point of strength, or playing racquetball or something will give you dexterity. All these little things, and as you go step by step process, you build your character that way. Then you go to postgraduate, graduate, undergraduate stuff, right? Or you can go straight to the military. And if you went to the military, you can increase your body, your constitution, and stuff like that. Or you can learn how to shoot and all these things. But if you went to college, you learn stuff like history or academic type skills. And so, and as you would go from one career to another. My favorite career, and I used it. I went to graduate school. I went to undergraduate school. I went to postgraduate, which was a law degree. I became a lawyer for a few years, and then it tells you like what is the next stage if you want to get out of that profession. What's the next stage you can go, right? And I think there was like judge or going to the government, but one of them was criminal. Actually, it was prisoner.
Oh, geez.
So
that's a life path.
So that's a life path, whether you want to go there or not. But I thought for flavor, I go, I'll be a criminal because there's some cool skills on a criminal or in prison, like forgery, lock picking, all this stuff. Which my lawyer guy didn't have a choice. He didn't have those choices to pick from. And so when I went to the criminal route, and then I got prison. I was a prisoner for a couple of years. And then I came out of prison, right? I was
started to face the world.
And first face the world and fight the darkness. So that to me is a true life path system, right? As you go up as you make your character, it gives you bonuses or subtractions on your character and gives you choices of skills. So I think that's pretty cool. Another life path system.
So go back to Traveler because you just skipped right over it.
Yeah, Traveler.
So, but I'm going to say that Traveler was the precursor to that.
Oh, yeah.
Traveler was the first one, right? And
I think so.
For life path, as far as I know.
Yeah.
You don't even want to call it life path because it's random life path.
Yeah, it is. But you're right. It is a life path system.
And but it comes out of war games or Miniatures. They were doing miniature war games. So I think that's why Traveler, your choices are military choices, right? When you get out.
For the most part, yeah.
You have to choose which way you're going to go. And
you could be in the Merchant Marines, which gives you like trade and, navigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It is a life path system because
But it's more random.
You start off in this... at a certain age, 18, and you roll to see where you can get in, right? What branch of service.
And if you roll crappy, your character may turn out really crappy.
Well, yeah.
And the original Traveler, you might die.
Yes, and some people love that idea, and I was like, no, I'm not a real fan of dying before I ever get to play.
I just spent 2 hours and my character died.
Well, I don't know how long. If you know how to, if you play the game and really know how the system works, you can probably make a character in like 30 to 45 minutes. But when you're first starting, no.
Augustine and our friend Phil was going to run a Traveler game.
He did run a Traveler.
And Saul goes, okay, here's the PDFs of we're using the original 3 black books or whatever they were.
Little black books.
And Augustine and I sat there because Saul was asleep. And we're like, what do we do? We had to wait for Saul to wake up to make our characters.
Which was weird because I don't remember that consternation when I was younger and making characters, but maybe because somebody told me how to make a character.
Yeah.
And so when we were looking at the rules, I was like, these rules are terrible.
It was hard. Me and Augustine couldn't follow it.
Yeah. I think it just, like I said, I think we talked about in the past, that Traveler was kind of like an archaic way of making characters and an archaic system, right?
I think they wanted it to be randomized, but it becomes too randomized if everything is because like the characters that I've made, I know you guys were playing Traveler and Morgan made a character that he could actually do what he wanted to do.
Yes, pretty much.
But all the characters that I've made for Traveler, which is like 2, maybe 3, because I know one died before I got done. I could never get the skills that I really wanted
Right.
to be able to do, or the skills that I had didn't really fit into the situations that we came upon.
Or even worse, like for example, I think what happens is you get a table of like 6 things.
Yeah.
Of skills. And you roll a die and then you get whatever that is.
Yeah.
So what happened with me is my skills, I couldn't get the same skill over and over again.
That's what happened to me.
And so there's you got a 0 in all these skills because I think it starts as negative number. So +1 would give you get you to 0.
Yeah.
Right? I think. I mean, you guys can double check for that for me. But anyway, so I had a character that was just all over the place. And then I was like, well, I'm going to change the service. Maybe the service is just sucky. You know, the Space Marines versus the Navy.
Yeah.
And then, and it's the same thing happened. But Morgan just stuck with it, right? Where he was in whatever branch of the service he was, he just stayed in the same branch, doing the same job. So he rolled like 4 or 5 times on that table, and some of them he rolled the same couple times or 3 times. So he was actually very competent in some skills, and we weren't. So every time he tried to do something,
he did it
where he that his skills fit, he was able to do it. Where we were like, no, we didn't make it. No, we didn't make it. It was a lot of that. I don't think I liked Traveler for that in the old days. Don't mind Traveler now, but they have changed the idea that you don't have to. What is it?
Die?
You don't have to, there's no dying, and I think they changed the rules a little bit of character creation. Remember, we were wondering what system Liminal was, and I said it's Traveler, and you were shocked that it was Traveler because you were able to make the character you wanted, and you were happy with the character, and you were happy with the way it worked.
But I think that in Liminal, you don't do a Lifepath system. You do it's like a playbook or something, right?
No,
or,
it's a Lifepath.
Is it?
Yeah. So you decide what skills you want. You don't roll on it.
Okay, that is the difference.
Different. Like I said, I really like Lifepath. The only problem with Lifepath, I think, with the pro, you get a character that you want in the Lifepath, most Lifepath systems. The con is usually takes a bit of time to make a character. More time than if you just did D&D, and more time than the other system that we're going to talk about later. But yeah, it takes a while to make a character. Well, I like the fact also Lifepath systems is that when you are making a character is coming to light as you are making the character. Because like, for example, in DDC, in DC, you start off as a young person and you have these careers, and that is, you don't have as much to make a background. It's practically being made at the same time.
When you say DC, you mean Dark Conspiracy.
Dark Conspiracy, sorry. Yes.
Just clarifying.
And other systems that use that kind of thing. Like, for example, the Conan is a Lifepath system. The Conan 2D20 system by Modifius is a Lifepath system. And it takes a long time to make a character in Conan.
Yes, it does.
But it's pretty
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Some people like that game within the game. And once you're done with that game, you get to play the game. So that's pretty cool. So yes.
Okay, what's the next one?
Well, I was going to say narrative. Characters are not, there's hardly any stats. They're represented by terms, sentences. What do you call that?
That's
quotes.
Fate, right? Or
Fate is a big
Accelerated.
one. Fate Accelerated is another one. I don't know if this is it is a quick way to make a character, but also because a lot is dependent on the players.
Well, yeah, right? I know that when we played your Dresden game and you used Fate Accelerated or Fate, whatever you used, where you had to have the sentence.
Yes.
And if you have to come up with the sentence and you're coming from either rolling dice to make your character or choosing a life path or whatever you're doing or point buy, it's really hard to switch into this.
Right.
Unless you are just totally cool and can
unless you played Sleepaway Camp or something like that.
Oh, good God.
So exactly, I think if you come from a traditional RPG, it's very difficult for you to
it's
to understand
mind bending to
yes.
say, okay, make a sentence to tell me why you can do this, and I'm like,
Not even why. Just make a sentence to describe what your character can do.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Give me examples.
Yes. The reason I even liked Fate for a while was I read Spirit of the Century, and they were I forget what the word they used, spicy, I think it was, something like that. So they were saying, "Oh, I'm strong. I'm a strong man." I mean, that's pretty good, but it's not descriptive enough, right? So it would be better. Strong as a bull. Okay, that gives you a different picture, right? But you can make it even more spicier, right? And that's what the word they use. And it says, "I'm strong man Atlas, strong as a bull from somewhere, from a circus or something." And so they go, "Wow, that's what we want." And it's hard to have these 5 things that really set your character up. Of course, you could change it later, of course. And then you have skills that really make your character. And if you're used to not doing that, it can be difficult. And I always had a hard time coming up with stuff, those 5 sentences to describe your character. I guess you should imagine your character first, and then just try to describe that character.
It's a very hard thing, in my opinion, to just be given a sheet and say, "Tell me what your character's like."
Yes. So I think this is good for people who haven't played a traditional RPG a lot. Supposedly brand new players just take to this like ducks to water. I've yet to see that happen, but I guess it can happen. And maybe I'm just a grumpy old man.
Well, that's a given, but
what I like about this system, it's relatively quick. If you are in that kind of mindset, you get the characters that you want, at least how you describe it. And but some cons is a lot of these games are not usually tactical, right? If you're looking for a tactical combat game, no narrative system is good for that.
I'm not sure that's a con, but that's just a statement of
For people who want a tactical game, it would be a con.
Yes.
Right. Again, like I said, older gamers might have a problem trying to make a character or understand or feel that this is a foreign
I'm not sure you should
way
say
to play.
older gamers. I think that it's just people's personalities, right?
Yeah, they all share the trait they're older.
No, I'm thinking of like some people are more creative in their ideas. Like you can say, okay, make a character. This is what we're going to be doing, and somebody in their head goes, okay, I'm this and that and this and this, and then Jolene's sitting there going, I'm sorry, what are we doing?
Right. For a long time, I was like a big proponent of Fate. And
He was.
And then I was like, I want to run Fate. I ran Fate at conventions. And then every once in a while, somebody who ran Fate very well and really knew what they were doing, going, oh, I think you should do this. And you should give this, an aspect. Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember reading about aspects. You went into a warehouse. It's dark. I put down a card that says dark. So when a person wants a +2 to their action, you tap the aspect, literally put your finger on the card and say, I'm going to use that darkness to help me move silently or something, or whatever.
To
right? Sneak, to hide, basically. So that stuff was something that was very hard for me to integrate into the game. I would forget about them. I would just like, okay. And then, is there any aspects to the scene? I'm like, oh yeah, there's aspects.
Saul's all, oops, I forgot about that part.
Yes, and that was a little intimidating.
Okay, so is there anything else? Is there anything else you want to say about narrative?
No, like I said, I really liked it for a little while, and then to me, Fate Core was not as light as I wanted it to. But Fate Accelerated did change that a little bit, and so I think it's changing, it's evolving. The narrative styles, some designers are able to fine tune those kind of games quite a bit.
I would just like to say that if you're going to run a narrative game and most of your players are used to playing in other games,
yes,
that if they're going to create a character, you might want to have some character examples or like make sentences from other characters that you've seen so people have an idea.
Correct.
The next one you're going to talk about is playbooks, right?
Playbooks.
And that does have descriptions
yes.
of you could do this or you can make up your own description.
Right. your own rules almost if you really want to. For example, okay, so playbook, the classic Powered by the Apocalypse game, which is Apocalypse based on a game called Apocalypse World, which I actually played years ago, and I was like, so the person who was running the game had a stack of what looked like bookmarks, literally bookmarks, and he goes, "Oh, pick a character," and she just fanned these bookmarks on the table, and I'm like, "What the heck? Those are characters? Or those?" Because it had a picture, and on a picture above the picture of the person was a name, gun guy, tech dude, sneak, all these descriptive titles like you would see in Facebook, like you would see in Shadowrun, the face, the this and that, and then you turned it over, and that's what the rules for your character, right? It was 2d6 system, just like Root. If you roll anything under a 6, you basically failed. If you roll a 7 through 8,
you get a complication.
You get to succeed with a complication. If you roll, and there's all those rules, right?
Right.
And then you had moves like special to your character that if you applied them, then you'd get a +2 to your action, whatever you're doing.
All I know is Root is an excellent game, and Saul was like, "I don't want to play Powered by the Apocalypse." Blah 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 blah.
I was very against it.
He was totally against it, and then Mike goes, "I got this game. I really like it, and I want to play." And I'm like, "Okay."
He wants to run it.
He wanted to run it. I'm all, "Okay, what is it?" And he goes, "Root," and I go, "Okay." And then Saul goes, "It's Powered by the Apocalypse. I'm not sure about it." And I'm like going, "Just play it and see." And I love making characters and playing in that game.
So playbooks, a lot of the stuff is done for you.
The Lindworm one has playbooks too, by the way.
I think it's Powered by Apocalypse or a variant of it.
Which is an excellent, fun game. Someone should make Saul play it again.
Which one? So a Sleepaway Camp?
Sleepaway Camp.
Oh my God. I think we bashed that game enough that I don't want to say anything more about it. Other than that guy had a bad childhood.
He had a bad experience at a sleepaway camp.
Yes, at the summer camp. Or, what is it? Was it Mike Myers' Halloween? He really was scared crapless with that movie. Anyway, but you're right. There's so many games out there that use that system.
The Monsters of the Week, right?
Yes.
And Monster Hearts.
Monster Hearts. There's or use a offshoot or sometimes they change it quite a bit.
Playbook. I'm going to say that Feng Shui uses it.
Yeah,
sure. I don't know that it's called a playbook, but an archetype. I always thought Shadowrun was really a playbook or archetype, but you're telling me it's a point buy, so whatever.
Yes. It's kind of a hybrid, right? Because you pick
Street Samurai, and
that's what you want to be.
That's what you want to be, and then you choose.
What's the best way to make your Street Samurai, or how you envision your Street Samurai?
Oh, the kids game.
Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop. It's a playbook.
Oh yeah, well, pretty much. There's a few decisions that you have to make. Yeah, but there's points there. But it's a playbook. You use archetype. Archetype and playbooks kind of are the same thing. There's a little bit more flexibility in archetypes, where usually your character is pretty much all made, and they gear towards being good at a certain area, but you can still put points in other points. You can
choose certain things. I remember playing Feng Shui, and I chose the
Thief.
No, not the Thief. The one that I chose was the Tomb Raider, whatever that one was called. And my whip was my weapon.
Oh yes.
And it was really good, but I had to discuss when I could use it and what exactly that meant. And I got several differing views until I finally said, "No, you need to tell me what I need to do, what I need to say, so I can use my whip."
Right. Yeah, I remember that. It was a good game. I liked that game. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So yes, for playbooks, what's the good thing about they're almost instantaneously playable.
Yes.
I mean, in that first.
Saul's always saying that Tales from the Loop, you can make a character in 10 minutes, and I'm like, you can't make a character in 10 minutes, but you really can. And the next 10 minutes is figuring out how you're attached to all the people at the table and that kind of thing, right?
Yes. But I think 15 minutes.
Okay.
Still not bad. So when I talk about how fast can you get this to the table, very fast. I mean, if you use not Powered by Apocalypse. If you use Apocalypse World, it's almost instantaneous. You got this bookmark that tells you what you can do. Yeah, on the other side is this a picture, and it kind of gives you the idea of what kind of character it is. And then boom, you are playing within minutes, literally under 10 minutes. You explain the rules, you explain the world of what's happening or the setting, and boom, you're playing the game.
Now, if we missed any character creation systems, you can tell us about it, but this episode has run quite long. So,
Has it?
yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
So you done?
I was going to talk about 3 other ones. No, there's no 3 other ones that I had. I gotcha. Like I said, it's super fast. It may not be super detailed. A lot of details will have to be filled in by the player. Come up with stuff.
Now this, and I don't mean to go long, but this one, the playbook does help you, unlike Fate, where they just give you a blank piece of paper and say, fill in these 5 sentences about what you are.
Yes.
The playbook gives you options and ideas that you can either choose one of them or create your own like it.
Right. That's why I like Root, because there's a little bit more flexibility in your character, because you do have a playbook, right? Mentality. You are a certain kind of animal, right?
Sleepaway Camp had the same thing where you could.
I don't even. I must have.
The playbook for each character gave you different things.
Really?
Ideas.
I completely blocked that out of my memory.
Okay.
All I remember is going, "What are we doing here?"
I have been pleasantly surprised by all the Powered by the Apocalypse ones that we have played.
Yes.
Just because you were so against it, and I was like,
I was poisoning the well.
Yeah.
And there was a reason. I think the problem is that I didn't quite understand the first Apocalypse World game I played, and the only Apocalypse World game I played. And the GM, I hate to say, was a little bit lackluster in their ability. Well, because we said me and brother Felipe played, and we were like, "So what's going on?" And then she goes, "It's the end of the world. You guys are living life to its fullest." And I'm like, "Okay, so." Why are we shooting each other? I'm thinking. And it just seemed really weird. It kind of was Mad Max-ish, I guess. Like really bad Mad Max. Not like...
So you needed more information.
I needed more information, and
a little more how to go.
But like you said, I've been totally impressed with Root, because they don't just give you a playbook. They give you the playbook, but they give you options that you can pick. And like, I don't know what options I had as a boar, not a boar. What was I?
I don't remember.
The big badger.
A badger.
I was a badger. So and it's tied to your character, right? The kind of character you play. Oh, you get to do this. Oh, you get to do that. But you get a choice of like 5 special moves you can pick. And I thought it was really good. It sold me on Powered by Apocalypse rules, and it sold me on playbooks. And Tales from the Loop is a hybrid of that. I think if you want to get a game to the table quickly, and without a lot of fanfare and a lot of rules explanation, playbooks and APOC, I hate to say. APOC? No. Powered by the Apocalypse. PBTA, I believe it's the shortened version of that, is pretty cool.
So there you go. There's some character creation systems for you.
Yes.
That's it.
And so hopefully you can find one that really tickles you. And
try something new.
Happy medium between crunch and ease of play.
So there you go. This is Gaming Perspectives with
Saul
and Jolene.
And you have a good day.